Good morning, Ultimate Hustlers. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show. And today we're talking human resources with Dr. Tiffany Slater of HR TailorMade, an HR consulting firm here in St. Louis. And I'm super excited to speak with her because if you don't know by now, the most powerful resource that we have in the entire world is the human resource. And sometimes we need to be reminded of that as entrepreneurs, that the human resource is the engine that drives everything that we do in business. So you need to know how to attract the greatest human resources, how to treat and retain them, how to respect them, and how to grow and lead them to manifest your dreams as a business owner. So I'm super excited about that. So do me a favor, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it. Yo, what's up, Ultimate Hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, Ultimate Hustlers and Digital Empire Builders, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. Today, I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor, coming to you live and direct from the Bob Crane Financial and Tax Planning Services Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you are still giving Uncle Sam thousands and thousands of dollars every single year, it's probably because you don't have a good tax planner. Not tax preparer. We're not going to blame them, but there's a difference between tax planning and tax preparation. You need someone helping you every step of the way, especially if you're an entrepreneur in business. You need someone guiding you on how to make those purchases for your business so that you get the maximum in tax write-off. So connect with my man, Bob Crane, comment keyword tax planning, or you can click the link in the description on the show notes to get in touch with Bob. He's an amazing dude. I call him the alphabet man. He's got so many letters behind his name. It's not even funny, but he's great. If you need to figure out how to grow your money, if you are self-employed and you kind of not have your retirement in place as a self-employed individual, yeah, he can help you with all of that stuff, man. So Bob Crane Financial and Tax Planning Services. Y'all know how we do, man. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand. And we're going to get to today's show where we're talking human resources with Dr. Tiffany Slater. The most powerful resource on earth is the human resource, and the most powerful resource in your business is the human resource. Do you know how to leverage that power? That's what we're going to be talking about today. A couple quick announcements before we bring on Dr. Tiffany. The Cortez Hustle Challenge is in full effect, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, if you have not figured out how to use this internet, how to use this tool, how to use social media and these platforms instead of letting them use you to make you a side income, then you want to take the Cortez Hustle Challenge, where you will literally make your first or your next $1,000 online in the world of affiliate marketing when you take this challenge. Comment Cortez Hustle if you want me to send you the link to get going with the challenge today. Also, y'all know that could be your banner right there. So I'm always looking for sponsors for the show, but I'm looking for sponsors for this new show that I got about to hit Roku at the top of next year. I'm super excited to be working with JP CEO and the Unheard TV team over there. So I'm doing something very special that's going to have a huge impact on the community, especially our Black-owned businesses. You want to stay tuned for that, but you might want to partner with me as a sponsor of that show as we're putting it together as we speak. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing what I do normally. I just launched the Thornton Online Marketing digital agency, the business-to-business side. You guys know for the last 6 years, I've been helping individuals start their own businesses, build their brands online. But now I want to do that for business owners, especially those in the Black community. So I'm inside of one of our Chamber of Commerce's websites and directories, and I'm just poking around, just reaching out, cold calling folks. And I happened to come across HR TailorMade. So I started digging around and looking, see at the website, man, that's amazing. Oh, Dr. Tiffany Slater is a woman-owned, Black woman-owned deal. Let me start poking around, went to her Facebook page, saw that she's doing some amazing thing. And I said, listen, there is no way I cannot reach out to this lady and ask her to come and share her thoughts on business, entrepreneurship, human resources with you guys. So I reached out and she obliged, man. So you guys get ready to put your hands together for someone that in the short time I've seen what she's got going on, I've come to know and respect. So give it up for my guest, Madam Dr. Tiffany E. Slater. Good morning, sis. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I am doing extremely well. Happy to have you on the program this morning. And before we get into who you are and how you got your start and your 25 years experience in the HR and then doing your own thing, we start the show with what I call the Cortez Hustle quote of the day. And this is where I share one of my quotes that hit me this morning as I do my morning routine. I'm listening to positive personal growth stuff, and something always hits me in the face. So I like to share that. But if you have a favorite quote, you can share that with us, or you can chime in on mine. So the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show is a simple one for me. Hard work still works.
Yes, that's a good one.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think in this day and age of the internet, and I am certainly guilty because the internet has leveled the playing field. But at the same time, it makes people feel like they can get around doing the work to be successful.
Yeah.
Nah, you still got to do the work. It's just a different work when you involve the internet, but you still got to do the work, people. So do you have a favorite quote, or do you want to chime in on that?
You know what? Well, I definitely like your quote, but one of the things that I say to people all the time, and I don't know if I got it from somewhere or if it just hit me one day, but it's to be kind to yourself. And that is a lot of times I end my show saying, be kind to yourself. I end some of my emails saying that. And what I like about it is it's a constant reminder for me to be kind to myself as a business owner, as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter, as a caregiver, all of those things that we are every day of our life. We have to remember that if we're not kind to ourselves, it is not possible to be kind to others.
That is heavy. Listen, that reminds me of Mel Robbins says every time she sees herself in the mirror, she gives herself a high five.
I love it.
Every time it's like, hey, I'm just walking past a mirror and I see myself. Because if you're not patting yourself on the back, sometimes no matter how hard you work and how you serve others, we're just all moving so fast that we don't often take the time to appreciate those who are making things happen in our lives. So she says, I got to high five myself, and I might see myself in the mirror 7 to 10 times a day. So that's 7 to 10 high fives for me. So I love that. I love that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the quote of the day right here on Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by, of course, our sponsor for today's show, Bob Crane Financial and Tax Planning Services. If you don't have a good tax planner in your life, hit my man Bob up, man. He is very good at what he does, and all he wants to do is help you keep more of your money away from your Uncle Sam and your Aunt Iris. Because if you ain't careful, they'll take it all. They ain't got no shame in their game about it either. So get you a good tax planner in your life, or if you need financial planning and you want to grow some money, he can help you with that too. All right, Dr. Tiffany, I ask everybody who comes on the show, who the heck are you?
Right. I'm still trying to figure that out. Well, I am Tiffany Elise Slater, and I am a St. Louis native. I am an HR professional. I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife. I am all those things. I love going to the spa, and I love HR, and I'm a business owner. I'm a connector. I'm spiritual. I'm sure I've missed some things right there, but that's who I am in a nutshell.
Awesome. And let me ask you this. I know we're going to get into your story about, going into entrepreneurship and business for yourself, but someone, and every time this is a subject matter that fascinates me because I'm so excited, and I report this all the time, that Black women are the fastest growing, most fierce segment in the world of entrepreneurship. And I'm fascinated by the conversation that I see more of my sisters getting to a place that they say, listen, I don't got to assimilate. If I can't be my authentic self in your corporate environment, I'm up. So was that something that you experienced? What was your experience as a Black, intelligent, beautiful woman in corporate America? What was your experience like?
So I did have a little bit of that, but I honestly kind of got used to being the only one or the youngest one. I got used to that, so that it wasn't so much of that, but I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I, and honestly, it was my journey is more of a spiritual journey. I believe that God ascended me to a place that I thought was Mecca, and said, "No, daughter, this is not the jam for you. I've got something else in store for you." So he shook that thing up, and he made it so horrible for me that I had no choice but to say, I surrender, because I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah. And I think that's the experience that a lot of people are starting to figure out, men and women, because one of the things that I'm so passionate about is helping people profit from their passions.
Yeah.
Because this is just my theory, right? But I believe that we have these passions and we don't know where they came from. We're just passionate about something. We don't know why. We just love it to death, right? But I believe those passions are a homing beaker to our purpose.
Yeah.
But our school system beats us out of chasing our passion. You ain't gonna make no money doing that. Focus on this over here. And when you run away from your passion, and if my theory is correct, your passion is to lead to your purpose, you never get to your purpose.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what leads to this place of sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like I realized that I'm meant for something more.
Yes.
And I can't spread my wings here. So I'm excited that you made that leap. You came to that place of surrender and said, listen, okay, God, I hear you. You don't have to make it any worse. I'm just going to go ahead and do my thing.
Yes.
So let's talk about that initial leap, or the jump, or the sequence of events that led to you in HR TailorMade. Was HR TailorMade the first thing, or was there a series of things before HR TailorMade?
So I actually had started a business while working before, but it was more of a hobby at that point, honestly.
Mhm.
And I started an organization where I had, I think there were eight. Eight Black female millennials. And we met one Saturday a month for a whole year. And we worked on leadership principles and we did different things. We took golf lessons together. That was part of the program. So we did some things that kind of pushed them outside of their comfort zone. I taught them about, some leadership principles and taught them about who they are, because I believe that great leaders first know who they are and can be great leaders of themselves.
Mhm.
So that's what I did. I started that first, and that was called Defiance LLC. And people are like, "Where you get that name from? It's so negative." No, it's not. I came up with that name because so many times women talk about all the things that we can't do or what's not possible and I'm not ready. So I was defying those voices in my head by starting that business. And that's why I
Mhm.
called it Defiance, because I want every human to be defiant to those voices that say that they can't.
Yeah,
So
I
that was,
love that.
yeah.
Gotcha. So you kind of started that, and you did that for a whole year. How are
Yeah.
those eight millennials doing now,
Yeah.
post that year that you worked with them? And are the entrepreneurs or sending the corporate ladder? What
Yeah.
is that?
So one of them is, actually, two of them are entrepreneurs, but one of them is still working her full-time job. She actually is my niece, and
Mhm.
she wrote the book, The Steam Queens, and that did very well, still does well. But she's a full-time IT professional, and so that's her side hustle. The other one has started a business, and she just went full-time in her business a couple months ago. So she's still fledgling, but she's trying to, get her thing together, and everybody else is just in the workforce. So,
Gotcha.
but that's important because there aren't many organizations that pour their dollars, their professional development dollars into people that look like you and me on a regular basis to
Mhm.
help them ascend to the ranks of leadership. So that is why what I did was so important to me.
Yeah, I love it. And I think there's so much room for that. And if you're listening out there and you have a passion for pouring into young professionals, there's a market for that. So I believe wholeheartedly, Dr. Tiffany, in making a dollar and making a difference at the same time. You
Yeah,
won't find a bigger capitalist than me, and you can hate me if you want to, but I believe that it's entrepreneurs that change the world, right? It's
absolutely.
not the government.
Mhm.
It's not religion. Religion usually changes the individuals, but the entrepreneurs are tasked with solving the problems of the world at scale. So they
Yes.
literally change the world, right?
Mhm.
So you went from, okay, Defiance LLC was the beginning, but it wasn't a full-fledged business. There was
Right.
some commitment there. You were every Saturday, y'all was doing something, you teaching these babies how to,
Yeah.
become leaders of themselves first and ultimately walk them down or introduce them to the power in leadership. Because I have a mentor who really helped me understand. He said, Cortez, when you get your leadership game right, the St. Louis region will never be the same.
Mm.
Like, wait, what? So
Right.
yeah, the world is missing absent of leaders. He
Yes.
said, because you are in the St. Louis region, if you get your leadership game right, that city is not supposed to be the same. I was like, oh, that was heavy. So I started working on my leadership game. So I'm glad to hear that you're introducing people to leadership. So now you go from that to, was it then HR TailorMade or?
Yeah, so I took another job, and that job was so all consuming. And I
Mhm.
did not have the time. I literally did not have the time or the mental capacity at that point, because I was just done and tapped out to even focus on that anymore. So I stopped that, started working my job like all in. And
Mhm.
so I got to a point where I was like, okay, I have nothing on the weekends to give to myself or my babies. And I had 3 little boys, and my husband is a basketball coach, so for 5 months out of the year, it was me and my babies. And
Mhm.
so, he would do what he could, but he would come home at 9, 10 o'clock at night from games or practice, and we were done. So, I got to a point where the stress just started eating me alive, and I ended up having to have 2 surgeries back to back, different parts of my body, and they were like, "We found a growth, we need to get it out to see if it's cancer." It wasn't cancer, and
Mhm.
so I resolved, I was like, "God, I hear you. That's stress. That's what that is. That's stress, and you telling me to sit my butt down somewhere." And so, I while I was out on leave, I did this 40-day prayer challenge. It's called Draw the Circle, if you've never done it
Mhm.
before. And I got to reading that thing, and I was like, "All right." So God said, "What?" He made a promise. What was that promise? To give me the desires of my heart and to make sure that he's going to care for all my needs. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that promise, God. And I'm telling you, this is me talking to God. God, you made me a promise. We doing this thing. On November 5th of 2018, I returned to work and gave my notice. I gave him 7 months notice. I was not
Mhm.
playing. I was like, I'm just letting you know so you can get your ducks in a row. Player is not returning next year. And when you make that decision and you are convinced
Mhm.
that God is who he says he is,
Yeah.
there is no reason to look back. And I'm telling you, I've not looked back. And God has blessed every step of my journey. Even those lessons that I've learned throughout
Mhm.
my journey, that's
Yeah.
exactly what they've been. Do
Yeah.
I wish that I hadn't lost a whole bunch of money making some choices that I made? I wish I hadn't, but I know now.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
I'm still standing and I'm here on a Thursday morning at 7:30 telling the story. So HR TailorMade was born out of a need for me to be kind to myself, out of a need for me to be obedient to God, and out of my need to be fulfilled and to find joy in what I did again. So that's how
Mhm.
HR TailorMade was born.
Yeah, man, that reminds me, my mom has, when she taught us how to pray, she always said, you pray God's word back to him.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. You made a promise, God.
Mhm.
So, and that's one of the things she always taught me to say. You just remind God of what he said. God,
Yeah.
you said, I
Yeah.
ain't say this, God. You said that my gift will make room for me at the top. So I'm
Mhm.
walking in this gift. And
Yes.
that goes back to my statement on passion, right? Because I believe that when you follow your passion, it leads you to your purpose. And when you find your purpose, there is your provision. See,
Yeah.
God doesn't say, my son, I created you for a specific thing.
Yeah.
And when you start doing that thing, you got to also figure out how to feed, clothe, house, and entertain yourself. No,
Yes.
he said, when you start doing that thing,
Yes.
all of that stuff is going to be taken care of.
Mhm.
And you're a living testimony of that. And we're going to get back to that stress thing because that's huge, right?
It
But we
is.
got to get into 1 minute motivation, Dr. Tiffany. This is where I play a short motivational video. And I just ask you to give me your takeaway. I'm going to give a couple takeaways, but usually about 60 seconds or so. So listen to 1 minute motivation as we get into some personal growth and self-development because I try to tell people, man, everything that you consume is personal growth and self-development. The
Yeah.
question is, are you growing in the right direction? So be careful what you let in. This is 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
Improve. Until they develop a winner's mentality, they'll never get what they truly want. What's a winner's mentality, you ask? It means being focused on yourself and not other people. It means having desire. It means wanting it, willingness to work for it. You simply have to give it everything you have to get it. You need to shut down all negativity and frankly not give a shit what others say and think. You want to know what the 10 most dangerous words in the English language are? what will other people say and what will other people think. You're the only person who needs to be okay with how you live your life. You could be hated by everyone, and if you're okay with your actions and behavior, you'll be content. At the same time, you could be loved and adored by every damn person on the planet. But if you're not okay with how you lived your life, you'll go to bed with emptiness. The losers we discussed earlier, there'll never be a shortage of them. People who throw hate your way because of how you live your life, and there'll never be a shortage of people who want to see you fail. So the key.
There'll never be a shortage of people who want to see you fail. Yeah. So stop crying about the haters, man. They're gonna be there. Just stop crying. They there and they're here to stay. I like to say it like this, Tiffany. My haters are hiring because they can't keep up. So
well, I'm not mad at you.
If you need a job, holler at one of my haters. They're hiring because they're struggling to keep up, right? Mm-hmm. So the reason I love doing this is because we all just listen to the same clip, but based on where we are in our lives, we heard something different. So what did you hear?
You know, I heard my quote reiterated: "Be kind to yourself," and
Mm-hmm.
that is all about focus on you. If you don't take care of you and all that God has given you from a physical sense, then you are not going to have a winner's mentality, because you are going to replay your mistakes. You're going to replay the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and who's watching me and who's hating on me. Turn that finger around and look at you and focus on you and be kind to you. Forgive yourself first.
Yes.
And remind yourself how amazing you are, and just keep on pushing, because nobody can do it better than you can.
That's right. That's right. There's only one you. That reminds me of another great quote. I had a brother on named Hassani X, and he said, "Drama rehearsed becomes trauma."
Mm.
And sometimes we take the little dramas in our lives and we just rehearse and just replay and just replay. We turn that molehill into a mountain. And now that little bit of drama has become traumatic for us, right? And we cannot allow that to happen. It don't matter who does not believe. Scripture says all things are possible for him or her that believes. It didn't say it's possible, Dr. Tiffany, if you got a husband that believes. It didn't say it's possible if you got a bunch of homeboys and homegirls that believe. No, there's only one person required to believe.
Yes.
That's you.
Yes.
You get that, right? And everything else will take care of itself. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by Cortez Hustle Challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to make your first $1,000 or your next $1,000 online, if you know what affiliate marketing is, that's one of the ways that I help people get started in a business that doesn't cost them anything. But guess what? When you start a business, you get all of the tax benefits of being a business owner. Even if you have a full-time job, that could increase your take-home pay anywhere from $300 to $600 a month when you readjust the W-4 because you're a business. I'm just saying, if you need a side hustle, then the Cortez Hustle Challenge just might be for you. So comment keyword challenge, and I will get you what you need to get enrolled in the Cortez Hustle Challenge. 100% free to get started, and then you can decide if you want to stick around and make some money with your boy. All right, so Dr. Tiffany, we talked a little bit about the stress that cause some physical malfunctions or dis-ease in the body that you had to take care of because of, you know, the work-life balance, stress of the job, whatever it is. People don't get that all disease comes from stress, right? There's some stressor on your physical body, if sustained, will create mechanisms in your body to try to adjust to that level of stress. And sometimes your body is not made to be in fight mode 24/7, right?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a short, intense burst, and then it's a wrap, right? So what I want to know is for people who might be in a similar position, looking back on it now, did you see the signs of that stress affecting you physically where you didn't have to let it go and you could have addressed it early? Because hopefully someone's listening could kind of recognize those signs before they go and get a mass detected and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So looking back at it, I had like little muscle twitches. You got, you know, when your eye twitches and it's you talking to somebody, you're like, oh my God, I hope they can't see it. But I would have those twitches like in different parts of my body. That was one. I wasn't sleeping and I didn't know that I had sleep apnea. And I've had sleep apnea since I was a kid and didn't know what it was. That was another thing. So I wasn't sleeping. The other thing was I had insomnia. I would fall asleep just fine, but I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning like the alarm clock was going off. 3 o'clock, wide awake, wouldn't fall back asleep until 5:30 in the morning, exhausted. My mind was slow. I'm pretty quick on my toes, but in this job, I was slow processing. I was like moving in sloth mode. Um, and I just wasn't, I was not functioning at an optimal level. Intellectually, I was challenged. It was just horrible. So those were all the things. And then the other thing, I was yelling at my kids like all the time, like just raising my voice. I would raise my voice when talking to other people all the time. And now looking back at it, it was stress. It was stress. So, I mean, because I talk to my kids so calmly now, hey, you know, I'm not supposed to do that. Where before I'm like, oh my God, why did you do that? Oh my God, you know, it was crazy. My husband, and I'm like, I don't know how you never said anything.
Wow. And that's what I mean, because if you are in fight or flight mode, everything is elevated to you because
Yes.
that's where stress has you living in that place. And you feel that you got to be aggressive because that's what those hormones and the endorphins are doing from the stress that is trying to manage that you're putting yourself under all of this time. Like you ain't meant, your body is not meant to be under constant stress 24/7.
Yeah.
It's meant to be able to give you what you need to deal with stresses in short bursts and then boom, mellow out, level out. So you went from that to giving them your 7 months notice, kind of worked through your thing, and you didn't do like me. I literally went in on Monday at 9 o'clock. At 9:30, I was back in my car. It wasn't no notice. It's like my wife and I had talked about it, and she didn't even know that I was going to do it that day. She talked about it. We agreed that my business had kind of started getting to a place where I was doing more of my personal business on the job. Now, some people are okay with milking that situation. I wasn't. It was eating at me like I can't. When my company blows up, I wouldn't want to be paying somebody 8 hours and only getting 4 hours of production because they're doing something else.
Yes.
So I had to leave, right? But the way I left, it was like, it's funny because Dr. Tiffany, people will always come by my desk because I'm the guy who at 4:30, I'm gone. I don't care what I'm in the middle of. I could be in the middle of an email. I could be in the middle. Listen, you paid me for my 8 hours. I gave you all I got for these 8 hours, and I'm gone. People always say, Hernando, your desk looks like it always looks like you're gonna be right back. Because even at the end of the day, I come by your desk, I'm just gonna sit here and wait for him because the way it looks like he's just gonna come right back. No, it's I'm out of here. But you gave him your notice, you put the work in, and then you went ahead and made that leap. What was the transition like? Did you save up? Were you
No.
because I didn't either. I was like, man, listen, my business was making a couple $1,000s a month. And I was like, well, that'll take care of the mortgage. And I figure everything else out.
Yeah, I didn't even have that. I didn't even have that. But let me tell you about God. So my husband is an entrepreneur as well, and he was building his business. I was the breadwinner. He wasn't making any money at that time. My contract ended on June 30th. He was looking for a job. He was trying to look for a job, and he was trying to find contracts for his business. In June, he got a contract that started on July 1st, the day after my contract had ended. That's how God works. And it replaced my income. So
wow.
So talk about a leap of faith. I literally went to my husband while I was on leave and said, look, I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm not going to go back to that job come July 1st. So I'm just putting that out there. I'm starting a business. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know if I'm going to be selling ice cream cones on the corner, but I'm not going back there. So that's how that whole thing went down. He was like, okay, let me figure this thing out. So,
good.
yeah.
Let's talk about that though real quick, because so many entrepreneurs have struggles with that, with their mates.
Yeah.
And the support. And I'll tell you, my little lady, I call her Sugar, and I messed up and said that in front of somebody, and now everybody calls her Sugar. Like that's her name. They think that's her name. Like they call her Sugar, right? But there's nothing like the feeling of when I get up in the morning, because of her support and the way she supports me, I literally feel like I can take over the world. There's nothing like that, right? So talk about that initial conversation and shell shock during the headlights, but ultimately came to the resolution that, okay, we're going to figure this out and we're going to be all right.
Mm-hmm. So I think, for a couple things. So I would call him at work and say, I'm getting ready to quit. So I'm just letting you know, I might be coming home jobless, but this is about to go down. He would breathe. He would say, okay. And my husband is real mild-mannered and calm. So I didn't expect him to say anything other than that, because that's just who he is. And he never wants me to be in a situation where I'm miserable, right? So that's the backstory. Fast forward, my husband is a God-fearing man. He is a praying man. And he goes into prayer. He has his prayer closet. It's not really a closet, our workout room in the basement. He'll go in there and close the door and he'll pray every day. And so knowing that I had his support really was never a question. It was more about me trusting God to uphold his promise and do all the things that he said that he would do. So it was more about me. But yeah, having my husband's support and singing my praises behind my back, that is absolutely an amazing feeling.
Love it. Love it. Now we are figured out what we was going to do, right? We didn't know. We just knew we were starting a business. We didn't know what the business was going to be, but how long did it take for you to figure out that, you know what, this is where my jam is. This is where my 10 at. Why not just do this?
Yeah.
How long did that take? And walk me through making that decision, coming up with a name, launching. What was your first service, first client, all of that?
So it really didn't take me long, because all I've ever done is HR, right? I'm very passionate about leadership development. But I knew that I needed to do something around HR, that would be the fastest route for me to grow a business, because that's what I'm known for. I definitely decided that this was what I needed to do. So I reached out to a couple friends of mine who are entrepreneurs, had conversations with them, and just kind of talked through my thoughts and my thinking, and, what could this possibly look like? What could it possibly be? And so One of my good friends is Alice Herndon, and she was the executive director of the Grace Hill Women's Business Center. And I went to her and I'm like, look, this is what I think I'm going to do. And she's like, all right, let's do it. And we started brainstorming names and we came up with HR TailorMade. She helped me get registered. She assigned me to a business coach. My business coach was Rihanna Wise. And we worked through it, and Rihanna was really wonderful. She was very supportive. She challenged me in terms of finding clients. She challenged me in terms of really trying to figure out who my target market would be. And then I just started. First of all, I'm an introvert. A lot of people, if you don't know me, you don't know I'm an introvert. I like never need to leave home. I just need to know that I have the option to leave home. So I said, okay, Tiffany, you cannot be a business owner and be stuck up in your house all day. So I went to the Chamber of Commerce. They had a speaker series. I think it was once a month. And I had gone through their leadership program before. And so I was still very connected. So they invited me to participate in their leadership program. So I went to one of the speaker series and I had a lady sit on my left and another lady to sit on my right. I'm an introvert, so I wasn't really talking to people. I was like, hey, good morning. Went on back to paying attention to me. The one lady on the left had been the prior mayor of Clayton. And she just introduced herself to me. She's like, oh my God, you're just starting your business. I would love to help you. Reach out to me. So we still today keep in contact. That was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The other lady on my right, she's like, hey, I'm the vice president of operations here for the chamber. I need to know you. Let's do breakfast. I was like, okay. We went to breakfast. And she's like, there's a program that I want to connect you to. And it was the Diverse Business Accelerator program that the chamber had. I got into the program, got a scholarship for the program, and the rest is history. Those two women I am still very much connected to today, and they're amazing. And so that was the beginning of me understanding that being an entrepreneur does not have to be lonely. It is lonely because of our fear and because of our lack of knowledge. And so one of the things that I've learned from that journey is to share what I learned, and any opportunities that I become aware of, I share it with other people because I don't need to be the smartest one in the room, and I don't need to be the only one that knows everybody. It's enough out there for everybody. And so it's just important for us to reach back and pull others up. And I do it all the time. And I don't need a pat on the back for doing it. I believe that that's what we're supposed to do. That is what humans are supposed to do. We are supposed to be each other's helpmates. So, yeah, I think I answered your question, Cortez.
Yeah, man. Listen, I think because of our school system, and I'm gonna try not to go on a rant, we lose the most important part about our coexistence is that God built us to be interdependent.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it takes us 40 years, 50 years to realize that. Imagine what happens if that becomes how we're brought up. Like, listen, you can't go it alone. Right. The African proverb says to go fast, go alone, but to go far, you got to go together. And that's what we got to realize. And that's what this show is about. I want entrepreneurship to be right there with get a job. Like get a job or start a business. So right. I don't want 95% of the time is get a job and 5% of the time, oh, I could start a business. No, you got options, right? You got options. So you kind of got that going, and you built this thing, and it's wonderful. It's going. So that's how it started. How's it going?
It's going really well. It is evolving, but it's going really well. I'm so blessed. I am blessed. am getting all kinds of clients. The people that I want to work with are female-owned businesses, but I'm
Mhm.
getting all kinds, and I'm really getting a lot of nonprofits right now, which to me is very, very. I think that's awesome. I think that
Mhm.
a lot of times organizations feel as though they can't afford HR assistance, but I'm not cheap, but
Mhm.
we're going to get you what you need. And what's important is that small business owners understand that having a human resources partner is very important. One of my
Mhm.
clients came to me because she lost $40,000 as a result of a audit by the Department of Labor, and she wasn't paying people enough. And they fined her $40,000. And
Mhm.
so, how about you don't even spend that much, but you pay an HR person to help you along the way so you don't have to lose a lot of money as a result of a fine?
Right.
So, we work with small businesses or small organizations, as I like to say, and we serve as their HR department on a virtual basis. And so there are other organizations that claim to do the same thing, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
We actually will give you your policies and procedures that are very specific to your business. We actually field phone calls from your employees. If they can't find their insurance card, we can access your system and get them what they need. So you don't even have to touch those things. We also, if you don't have insurance or you need it for your team, we can connect you with brokers. We don't make any money off of that. We just make what you pay us. But our
Mhm.
goal is to give you and your team all the things that those large organizations have by way of their HR departments. So that's what we do. The other thing that I've just added, which I love, it's my passion. I am going through a coach certification program, and so I decided there is no better way to serve the small business community than to help ensure that small businesses have amazing leaders, and that's important because people leave leaders. So if you have a retention problem, you need to look at yourself or you need to look at your leadership team. And so I coach people, coach small business owners or entrepreneurs to be amazing leaders. So that's one of the things that I do. Just started to offer that. I also do HR coaching. There are small businesses that just want to know how to do these things for themselves, or they've hired a person to be their HR person that's never done HR before. That's okay, but that's no different than you doing HR and not necessarily knowing how to do it. So we can provide them with a full year of HR coaching to help them get all of their HR ducks in a row and leave them what they need to be successful when they're done. So those are all of the things that we do, and I say we because it's not just me. I have a team now, and that's
Nice.
exciting. That is so
Nice.
exciting. Yeah.
So you are to the HR world for small businesses what I am in the digital marketing world for small businesses,
Yes.
right? Because I think those, like, my biggest thing, my biggest initiative, right? My life's legacy when it comes to business outside of what I'm doing with my family and my children, my life's legacy is to help us go beyond retail, meaning us entrepreneurs in
Yeah.
the Black community. Listen, there is nothing wrong with a retail business, ladies and gentlemen, but you can only employ so many people in retail.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to become the wholesaler.
Mhm.
Somebody's got to become the buyer. Somebody's got to become the manufacturer. Somebody's got to even grow the raw materials that we need to manufacture all the stuff that serves us. And I think great HR, great leadership, great marketing can help these small businesses scale to the point where we can be like every other culture on the planet that is responsible for the employment of 95% of the people in their culture.
Yeah.
Right now, 95% of people in our culture work for another culture,
Mhm.
right? Because we haven't figured out the scale and the growth beyond the retail. And so I love what you're doing. in the HR space. And I'm glad that we got to have this conversation, right? Because I think it's so neat. I think so many people, and including myself, didn't understand that I could have an HR team without having an HR department, right? Is that a good way to say it? I can have an HR team without having an HR department.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Tiffany, Dr. Tiffany, let me put some respect on your name, Dr. Tiffany. We do a segment called Freestyle because I know you got bars, sis. I know you came up on hip hop like I did, so I know you got a little salt and pepper in you or something, right? No, that's not what we mean when we say freestyle, right? As I build this media empire that will one day rival Ted Turner and Walt Disney, starting with this as a foundation, I don't always ask the right questions. So therefore the conversation doesn't always evolve to where we might want it to go. So freestyle is about you taking a minute and either reiterating something that you said that needs more emphasis, or giving us something that we didn't evolve to get to that you feel is important that can help people in their small business. So this is freestyle right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, the Dr. Tiffany Slater version. Hit them with your best bars, sis.
All right. Well, I don't have any rap bars, but what I can say is that as entrepreneurs, it is very important that we show up as our best selves. And what that means is, I said it before, is being kind to ourselves first. And part of being kind to ourselves as entrepreneurs is investing in our own growth and development and making sure that we have all of the resources that we need in order to be amazing leaders. That starts with you. That starts with you understanding how you show up as a leader and how you impact other team members. It's important that we do our own work. We talk about people with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion work, but we have to look at ourselves as leaders and say, okay, I want other people to do their work, but what am I doing? How am I showing up? How am I talking to people? How am I treating people? Do I still have the mentality that I don't have to do anything for people other than make sure I pay them on time? Do we still have that mentality? If you do, you need to do some serious work, because it is organizations like those that are hemorrhaging team members on a daily basis. Now, as a result of COVID, people have learned, you know what? There are more things to life than working every day, specifically than working for an organization that doesn't appreciate me, that doesn't treat me well, that works me harder than the person over there because that person is nasty and they don't want to deal with them. We have to understand that taking care of our best asset means that we have to do our work first. We got to know how to talk to people. We've got to know how to put together packages, benefits packages, or recognition programs, or whatever that looks like, so that we can grow a team that is loyal to us and that wants to stay with us. And so that is all about you doing your work as a leader and understanding what you need to do for your team so that you can grow an empire that has an army of people that are singing your praises behind your back, like my husband does for me.
There you go. There you go. Love it. Drop mic. Bars, people. I told you she had bars. I told you. All right, Dr. Tiffany, tell everybody real quick before I give a last shout out to my sponsors. How can they connect with you? If they need that HR team without having an HR department, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
The best way to connect with me is to go to our website, HRTailorMade.com, and go to contact us. You can also email me, Tiffany@HRTailorMade.com.
All right. So it's in the show notes. It's in the descriptions. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been listening to and learning from Dr. Tiffany E. Slater, founder and chief HR. I'm trying to remember your title. What is your title?
It's CEO and senior HR consultant.
Senior HR consulting at HR TailorMade. Man, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. Ladies and gentlemen, one last word to our sponsors. Thanks Bob Crane Financial and Tax Planning Services for all of his support of the Cortez Hustle Show. If you don't have a good tax planner, that's another one of those areas that our small businesses think they can't afford, right? I won't bring somebody in that can help me with my tax planning, but I'll give Uncle Sam $20,000 at the end of the year when I could have gave this guy $5, and he could have helped me keep that other 15 from going to Uncle Sam, right? We think we can't afford these things because of the way we've been conditioned. So if you need tax planning services, or another place is, you talked about benefits packages. If you don't have a great 401k plan or a great investment strategy for yourself as a company and your employees, this is what Bob can do for you guys as well. And then for those of you who are individuals, maybe you're on the fence, you're thinking about getting going in entrepreneurship, you're doing that whole double just thing. Could I, should I, would I? One of the best positions to be in this economy is to have a full-time job and a legit side business, because it gives you access to the #1 wealth building tool in the entire world, which is the United States tax code. People literally put their lives on the line to get here, not to get a job, but to start a business, because they know that they can leverage the tax code to build wealth. So becoming or taking the Cortez Hustle Challenge can help you do all of those things in the world of affiliate marketing. We sell a all-in-one digital marketing platform / solution, and you can get paid for doing that, and I'll help you along the way. So that's it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you all for tuning in. We appreciate again Dr. Tiffany Slater for coming to hang out and share her insights on entrepreneurship, her journey, and how everything is going with HRTailorMade.com. Y'all make sure y'all check her out. And as always, if you spend $100 or more with any of our guests, I'm going to give you a free vacation, people. So that's my dirty bribe to get them to work with you, Tiffany. So till we talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. So hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.